Today on the show, we're going to be talking about Raven from the Teen Titans. If you didn't know that she's had more than one body, then this show is for you. So Raven, Dark Raven, Daughter of Trigon, White Raven, blatantly the best character on the TV show. These are all titles that Raven has used in her career, especially that last one. But who exactly is she? And what exactly is Azeroth? Well, I'm going to tell you. So Raven is actually half human and half demon. Her demon half comes from the demon emperor Trigon, and her human half comes from a woman called Angela, who through a series of events ends up joining a satanic cult, and ends up taking part in a bit of the sex with Trigon. Angela was disgusted that she just mated with a demon, and not only that, she was pregnant with a half-demon, and she attempted to take her life one night by overdosing on sleeping pills, but then people from Azeroth approached her. So Azeroth is this place that's not quite out of reality, but not quite in it, and the people of Azeroth basically say to Angela, you have Trigon's baby in you, and if you come with us, we can make sure that baby grows up away from Trigon's influence. So Angela goes with the Azerothians, and when she arrives there, she is given the new name Arella, which means the Messenger Angel. Arella gave birth to a baby girl, who she obviously named Raven. It was at this point that it was revealed to her that she wouldn't actually be able to bring up Raven herself. The ruler of Azeroth basically explained to Angela that this was to stop emotional ties being bonded between the two of them, because that is how Trigon would find Raven. Obviously, Arella was heartbroken, but she agreed that this was for the best. A major part of Raven's upbringing was actually learning how to suppress and control her emotions, which, if you watch the Teen Titans TV show, you'd know that's actually how she controls her powers. Eventually, the ruler of Azeroth, Azar, passed away, and the rest of Raven's upbringing was actually left in the hands of her mother, Arella. But what Arella didn't know is that Azar planted her undying spirit into Arella. She did this in the hopes that it would protect her if anything bad happened, or mostly in the case of Trigon returning. So eventually, Raven found out that Trigon knew where she was, and he was actually on his way to Azeroth to come and get her. Raven ran away to Earth and went to the Justice League for help. It looked like they were going to help her, but then Zutara was all like, this girl is half demon. You can't trust a demon. I don't think we should help her. This is a crappy idea. So the Justice League turned Raven down. Falling to desperation, Raven reformed the Teen Titans, but this time they would be called the New Teen Titans. ItsSuperEffective! The Teen Titans were eventually able to lock away Trigon in an interdimensional prison with the help of Arella, but because he wasn't dead, he still had some influence over Raven, and in fact in high-stress situations, Raven would have to stop whatever it was that she was doing, just so she could make sure that Trigon wouldn't take control of her. So eventually, Trigon was able to break free and come to Earth and take control of Raven. But first, he destroyed Azeroth. The Teen Titans were actually forced to kill Raven. However, upon doing this, the souls of Azeroth were able to take control of Raven's body and channel their energy to kill Trigon. After the battle, everyone obviously thought Raven was dead, but she rose up from the ashes and disappeared, and this led to Arella going to search for Raven. Arella eventually found Raven, but then the two of them were kidnapped by Brother Blood, and he forced Raven to use her powers to control Nightwing to aid him in his plans. Fortunately, the Teen Titans were able to save the three of them, and after this event, Raven started wearing a white cloak to represent that she was free of Trigon's control. So, for the first time in her entire life, Raven was free to feel her emotions like a regular person. She actually found herself having a bit of a teenage crush on Nightwing, and this is how she learned that she could force her will and change the emotions of other people, when she actually used her powers accidentally to make Nightwing think that he was in love with her. Later on, Raven and several other Titans were kidnapped by the Wild Beast Society, who in turn was their teammate Jericho, who in turn was actually possessed by the Trigon-possessed souls of Azeroth. During a huge battle, Raven herself would be possessed by the Trigon-possessed souls of Azeroth, which would lead to her becoming Trigon's avatar once again. It was only thanks to Arella using Azar's soul essence to cleanse her body, but in turn this actually destroyed Raven's body. In addition to this, Arella and Danny Chase actually had to give up their lives to make this work. Their souls and the cleansed souls of Azeroth would all join together to create Phantasm. Some time would pass before we would even see Raven again, and the next time we see her, she would once again be possessed by her father. ItsSuperEffective! So Raven was actually going around planting seeds of Trigon into people, and this was to turn them into bodies for Trigon to use himself. And she actually ruined Starfire and Dick Grayson's wedding, and planted the seed of Good Raven inside of Starfire. The Titans were eventually able to defeat Raven, but only thanks to the help of Phantasm. The evil Raven would return once again to destroy her good self and Starfire. The Titans were able to kill Raven, and the good Raven would emerge, and she'll be rewarded a golden soul body, which meant basically that she was free of her father's influence forever. Later, on Tamaran, Raven would reveal that this was her plan all along, and thanks all the Titans for their help. Raven would stay in spirit form for quite some time, but she was eventually resurrected by the Church of Blood. They did this because they found out about a prophecy that states that if Brother Blood were to marry Raven, this would bring about Armageddon. The Teen Titans were able to stop the wedding, and after this, Raven would enroll in high school. Also, after her resurrection, Raven found herself physically attracted to her teammate Garfield, who all of you probably know as Beast Boy. Now we're on to 52, and this was a bit of a weird time for Teen Titans. You see, Wonder Girl leaves to find the deceased Superboy somewhere, and Robin leaves the team to be with Batman full-time. This left Beast Boy in charge of the team, and he wasn't exactly a natural-born leader at all. Also, it didn't help that most of the team was just there for fame and fortune, so when Beast Boy left to help steal an mission, a bunch of the team left themselves, and this only left Raven and Zachary Zatara. The team wouldn't reform until after the events of World War III, when Wonder Girl and Robin rejoined the team. Raven was the only team member who stayed part of the Teen Titans through this whole ordeal. During the events of 1 year later, Raven and Garfield would break up, and Raven would quit the Teen Titans. Raven let the Teen Titans think that this was because of the breakup, but in actual fact, Raven had found out a deep, dark secret about one of the team members. Through a series of events, Raven would return Jericho's soul to a new body, and she would rejoin the team as a full member. The team would then be kidnapped by the Titans East, and she would be tortured by Enigma and Dula Dent. The team managed to defeat the Titans East, and Raven hints to Garfield that she still loves him, but Garfield refuses to dwell on the matter. After the death of Bart Allen, Raven and the other adult Titans would leave the Titans completely. They would only reform after a series of demonic attacks happened to various members, and this would cause the original team of the new Teen Titans to reform. ItsSuperEffective! Raven finds out that she has a series of brothers, and a trio of them are actually behind all the attacks, but what she didn't know is that they were actually able to manipulate the emotion that is strongest between two people, and this results in Starfire and Nightwing having sex mid-investigation, and Raven and Beast Boy attacking one another. The three brothers trick Raven and Beast Boy into opening a portal to Trigon. However, Raven uses her own power on her brothers to amplify the greed inside of them, and they steal what little power actually remained of Trigon's, and the portal closes and the brothers leave, thinking that they have gained Trigon's godly power. Eventually, Raven's brothers would return, and they provoke her demonic side, and this causes her demonic side to awaken, and she joins her brothers. Fortunately, the Titans are able to talk her back to the side of good, and they manage to save the day, but Raven ends up supplying the team with a series of artifacts, all capable of ending her life in the event that she becomes the avatar for Trigon once again. After this, Raven's story goes through a bit of a weird phase, and it involves a creature named Wild, and it's quite hard to explain, so we're just gonna skip over it and go straight to the last issue of the Titans. Superboy Prime and the Legion of Doom begin to attack the tower, and Raven has to stop Kid Flash from killing Inertia. The team are fortunately able to defeat the Legion of Doom, and Superboy Prime becomes stuck in the Source Wall. Raven and Beast Boy finally have a talk. Raven says the reason that she avoids him is because when she's around him, she feels such a surge of positivity that she's never felt before, and she never feels in other situations. Beast Boy tells her to embrace it because that's part of being human. The two of them share a passionate kiss, and their love begins anew. It's super effective! As always, the New 52 is a thing, and I want to talk about this in great detail, but there isn't many details to talk about because she's only just come back into the series. What I will say is her new origin story, because that is very, very important. She's been under Trigon's control for quite a while, and she first appears in Teen Titans number 16. She was still brought up by the monks of Azeroth and still taught how to control her emotions, but as soon as she learnt how to control her emotions, her mother and her escape Azeroth and go back to Earth, where she was kidnapped by the Phantom Stranger and handed over to Trigon. This is about as far as I can go on her origin story without totally ruining the New 52 Raven. I'm honestly a bit iffy on the New 52 Raven. I'm gonna give it another year because she is my favourite character, so she deserves that leeway. But honestly, I'm just a bit... so far. Still, there are so many great things that they can do with this character, and I know if she ends up in a romantic relationship with Beast Boy once again, I will just be so happy because I love that couple. It's super effective! Okay guys, that is it for today. If you think I've missed anything about Raven, please leave it in the comments down below, and also remember to thumbs up this video and subscribe. Also, if there's any video games or comic book characters that you'd like me to cover, please leave it in the comments down below. My name is Faust, this has been Exploring Comics, and it is super effective.